Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Clarity in the Chaos, in which we attempt to bring some vertical clarity into the midst of our horizontal chaos. And that is how we are to live life as followers of Jesus Christ. We put the vertical ahead of the horizontal. We trust what has come down from heaven more than what we see around us. It goes first. We live in a world today filled with information. It is at our fingertips. And so there are many who believe that what can be known is known, and what is not known, most would say, just has not been researched yet. And so the bounds of information have been defined today by science, that all truth can be known, learned, and understood by scientific process. Now, this comes in contrast to the way of the follower of Christ. Not that we don't believe in science, but we understand that there are mysteries beyond what science can fathom. There is truth and information that is spiritual and not necessarily definable by the laws of science. This is where faith enters into the picture. We believe in a God who has revealed himself to us by grace, and we choose by faith to believe what is unseen. This is essential for the person who has wisdom, as we've been seeing in the book of Proverbs. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. It is in recognition that there is a God who has created all things, who is bigger than all things. It is in honor, reverence of him that we begin to have true wisdom and insight. Now, this is opposite, converse, and contrast to what our world as a whole believes today. As we come to chapter 30, we are introduced to another writer in the book of Proverbs. And he is going to introduce himself with some credentials. And what he says about himself actually gains him a spot in this book and gives to us a picture of what it means to have real clarity in our world today. So we'll begin in verse 1 of chapter 30. It says, "The words of Agur, the son of Jakeh, the utterance, this man declared to Ithiel and Ukal." Here he is. Here's the person. Here's the man who's writing to us, and he has declared what he has written to his students. Two of them he lists here, and here's what he says: "Surely I am more stupid than any man, and do not have the understanding of a man. I neither learned wisdom nor have knowledge of the Holy One. Who has ascended into heaven or descended? Who has gathered the wind in his fist? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if you know?" So he begins his credentials with a list of unknowns, things he does not know. That's the opposite of what we might define as a person's credentials. He starts off with his limitations, that there are things that he doesn't know. There are things that are bigger than this life. There are mysteries to life, but these mysteries don't leave us in a place of confusion. They instead lead us to a place of confidence, because our unknowns, we trust, belong to a God who does know. He knows all things. He has created all of things. And so for a believer, a follower of Jesus Christ, by faith, we believe that he has created and knows and holds all things. And in that, we find great confidence. We find rest and peace in a mystery, not because it is unknown at all, but it is known to a God who knows us. And in that, we rest. There are mysteries, there is knowledge, but it is in him. He is the one who knows. So we don't have to claim ignorance of all things today. We claim dependence today in the one who does know all things. And what's beautiful about the last part of what Agur says here, he says, Who has established all the ends of the earth, and what is his name? He recognizes that there is one. There is one greater than us who has the power, who has the ability, who has all knowledge, who has all wisdom. And he says, what is his name? He is knowable. He has an identity. And what is his son's name? This tells us much in just a very few words. This tells us that he is a God who gives life. He is a God who is knowable. He is a God who is relatable. He is a God who is lovable, and he loves. This tells us much, and here he writes, in a day when he had some of what we have as the Old Testament and some that he did not. And so we have a more complete revelation today, but he had great faith in the revelation that he had in his day. And he became a man who was wise, not because he claimed to know all things, but because he began with the place of saying, I don't know all things. And the only way to know is to know the one who has created and knows all things. This is where there is great wisdom. So today, in the midst of a life where there are uncertainties and unknowns and mysteries, those are the kind of things that cause most to panic, cause most to fear because they don't have an answer. And in that place, followers of Jesus Christ say, in the mysteries, in the gaps, in the moments I don't know, I'm not troubled. I'm not filled with uncertainty. I'm filled instead with great faith because I know the one who knows all things, and he has a son, and he's given that son to me so that I can know life, and I can know him, and I can know love, and I can know redemption, and I can know forgiveness, and I can know peace, and I can know blessing from him, and I can know him. And in this we rest. In the midst of the uncertainties, we rest in the certainties because we know the one who has made all things. And when you know him, then you can have great clarity in the midst of the chaos.